Now, just before you start watching this video, guys, I'm just going to say this video might get taken down. It's probably going to get demonetized. And I forgot to add this part in. So I'm going to read out this little screen grab I've got. Now, this is going to be about YouTube Kids predominantly. But I want to read out this screen grab to you guys because I think it's important. I'm not going to show any of the content from YouTube Kids in the videos we're discussing in this because for whatever reason, YouTube's guidelines seem to be all over the place and you can put some things in some places and some things you can't. You can swear in some places and then sometimes you can't. Your video gets taken down or demonetized. So I would encourage you to go and look at these videos yourself. There will be screen grabs of them. And I want to give you some context as to what is in some of these videos because they paint it up as being kid friendly. It's definitely not. So I'm going to read this to you quickly and then we'll proceed with the video that I recorded with Sabi for Midnight Rubbish. So if you go on some of these YouTube channels, which are the ones for YouTube Kids, like Simple Funds, the videos that are supposedly for young children 2 to 5 years old show very suggestive content that very few parents would approve of, i.e. adultery, injections, sex, eating feces, and water sports. Now, if you guys don't know what water sports are, I ain't gonna explain them here. Just do a quick Google search. Not appropriate for kids. But the themes being presented are very easy for children to understand and digest, but we can dig a little deeper. Some YouTube channels show seemingly innocent thumbnails and titles, but if you click on them, videos of children giving hand jobs to old men and child R-word is shown instead. For fear of Reddit's admins and national laws surrounding this, I will not disclose any channels that show this. Obviously, guys, do your own research on this. It's on the internet. It's there for you to see. These video titles sometimes have strings of jargon. In a post on 4chan's infamous poll, some anons suggested that these could be .onion links to child, you can see that word there, can't say it again because YouTube's all over the place, sites in code. The comments on these videos have the same sort of jargon. What is very strange is that YouTube has refused to comment on ElsaGate. Now, I'm sure all of you guys know what ElsaGate is. If you don't, again, go and do some research on it. But essentially, it's where people are dressing up in kids' characters' costumes, like full body costumes, and doing all sorts of things that children should not be looking at. Again, if you've never seen ElsaGate, you've never heard of it, do a quick Google search, do a quick YouTube search. Might want to put your tab in incognito though, I ain't gonna lie. And you'll see stuff that children shouldn't be seeing. No efforts have been made to censor or remove any videos thus far. Take that as you will. The worst part is most of these videos make it past the YouTube suggestive filter. That means that even with the child-friendly YouTube Kids app, very young children could be exposed to this. Nobody knows a lot about this yet, but this is a conspiracy that's going to be plastered on every news site before you know it. This is not a conspiracy theory, as one might think. The evidence is right there. Try to follow this conspiracy as it progresses and be in the know. So essentially, you guys can go and look this up yourself. This is not somebody that's just talking out of their arse, that's pulling at strings. This is not a right or a left issue. This stuff is on YouTube for your children to consume, for everyone to consume on the YouTube Kids app. Yet on the main YouTube, on the adult YouTube, you can't even swear. Someone make that make sense to me. Now in the video you guys are about to see, Sabi has not seen these videos, so she's a little bit confused at the things that I'm talking to her about. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of this context. I will be showing Sabi these videos in private. You guys can go and look at them yourselves. It is extremely disturbing that this stuff is on YouTube. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you create a YouTube Kids app, it's meant to be for kids. If you're going to have this stuff on the adult YouTube, even that is a bit wild, but whatever. You know, that's another discussion we could have. But if you specifically create an app for kids, and then this stuff is on there, we got a problem. But without further ado, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little bit long, but there's another video in there that we're going to be reacting to. Thought it's important for you guys to see it, and we're going to be covering a lot of screenshots. So I'll catch you guys in the video. Right, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. I'm going to need you to follow me for a second, but I'm fairly annoyed at YouTube, and I've got a couple of things that I need to point out regarding YouTube Kids. Sam Smith, although not so much that I have a problem with Sam Smith, but I'll draw the comparisons in a moment. But basically, there's a guy called Aldo. I don't really know who he is. This just was sent over to me by one of my friends. Apparently, he works for some company called PragerU. and he created a YouTube Kids account, and he found all kinds of content on the YouTube Kids account that I don't know if it should be on YouTube Kids. And considering that you can't even swear on the regular YouTube, and most content that is even slightly controversial gets demonetized, advertisers won't put anything on it. For them to be putting that stuff in the kids section, what I'm about to show you is a bit crazy. I haven't shown you this yet.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you to, it's not something that you really need to prepare yourself for. You just need to see what I've seen and then tell me what you think. And then there's a little video in here as well that I'm going to play you guys. So he started off by saying he made an account for a 9 to 12-year-old. And one of the first videos they recommend is kids meet a gender non-conforming person. Just to double check, I actually checked this out myself, and he's not lying. When you make a YouTube Kids account, all sorts of weird stuff starts coming up that I'm not really sure why you would show kids. That's the screenshot. He's clicked for ages 9 to 12. That's one of the first videos that comes up. Here's just one screenshot of the myriad videos they have to inject children with LGBTQ programming. Why do kids need to be exposed to this? Now, before I go on, I just need to say that this is not a slight at the LGBT community. It's just that that community represents it's about sex, right? It's about how they express themselves sexually and who they want to sleep with.
Is it though?
Of course, lesbian, gay, bi, that all denotes who you're sleeping with. What
I don't
else
know
does
if
that
you're
mean?
talking in facts here right now.
How is that not facts? Lesbian.
That's what I'm trying to gauge right now. So isn't LGBTQ just supporting the rights of gays and lesbians?
No, those are just basic human rights. LGBT.
Yeah, lesbians.
What? If I say that you're a lesbian, that has nothing to do with your personality and everything to do with what? Your sexuality.
Yes.
Right. So the LGBT community.
Yeah.
That entire thing is them expressing their sexuality.
Yes.
That is why people find it inappropriate to expose these things to children at a very young age. The same way we found wet ass, can't say it because again YouTube will demonetize us. Those are straight women, as far as I'm aware. They were women that straight men are attracted to. People were still demonizing it because that was coming on daytime TV and it was on regular YouTube, which anyone could access. And that song is a bit wild. Yeah,
but I think when things are promoting a sexual nature, it's different than just...
What do you mean?
I'm so confused right now. I'm so confused.
So here's some of the screenshots that...
Michael can't even be bothered for me today. Do you see that?
No,
He was like, I'm not even going to explain this to you.
No,
Moving on.
It's in the name. LGBT.
Yes, read me the name. Lesbians, gays, bisexual, and trans.
Right. Now the trans
Q
one
is the Q for community, basically. Queer.
Yeah, queer.
I know community is spelled with a C, by the way, but I'm just saying. Okay, so for example, zebra crossings. Some zebra crossings have been changed to rainbow color to support LGBTQ.
How is that supportive? In what way?
I'm not discussing that. I'm just talking about that's what people in the world are doing. So when I'm saying it's supporting it, that's where I'm saying it's not supporting. It's not talking about the idea of being sexual and sexual things that you like. It's just accepting people who feel like they were never once accepted. No. I mean, it's okay to have a community if you feel ostracized, but the problem is that the community represents it represents sexual things. It's all about their sex. The whole reason they would have been ostracized or felt like they were is because of who they were sexually attracted to. So regardless of whether like you're accepting of the movement or not, that's not really my problem. I don't have a problem with the LGBT community, just like I don't have a problem with the Hispanic community or the black community. My problem is exposing certain things to children, right? I don't have a problem with like gun owners, but I'd have a big problem if you're giving guns to little kids, right? So my problem is that this is a YouTube channel on YouTube Kids called Queer Kid Stuff. Now, if you saw your little cousin on YouTube and it said straight kid stuff, and it was of a sexual nature, because that's what it would be about, right? Would you not be like, that's a bit of a weird thing for a kid to be on? Absolutely. It's not things that need to be discussed.
You've got here identity compilation, gender compilation, happy non-binary week, What does self-care look like? This is not age appropriate. I'm sorry, it's just not. They got some things about Black Lives Matter. It's okay to be gay lip sync.
So it's just not kids stuff, basically.
It's not kid stuff. This is not for kids. Then you've got Meet a Queer Kid featuring Desmond is amazing. I think Desmond is amazing is the young drag queen. Which again, a kid being a drag queen.
Yeah, the drag queen stuff is just wrong.
A kid being a drag queen, I mean, come on.
Not drag queens are wrong. I mean, kids being exposed to drag queens is wrong.
Yeah, and there's videos on YouTube of drag queens saying that those are not places for children. Yeah. There are videos on YouTube of drag queens saying themselves that the things that go on at drag shows and the things that go on behind closed doors at the drag shows and for the public to see is not age appropriate. There's no such thing as a family friendly drag show. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. That sentence doesn't make any sense.
Kitty, you don't perform in front of children, do you?
No, nor would I. If I was performing for an audience and I saw a child, I would walk out.
So why do these drag queens keep foisting these performances on children?
Well, a lot of the performers, I can only speak for the performers, a lot of them are just like low-level wage workers. If you notice, some of them aren't the most beautiful, the most talented. They're typically from a local club or dive bar. They're just doing it for the tips and the money that they're getting.
So they're doing it for the money, so I guess it's the parents who are booking these drag queens to perform in front of their young children.
Well, right. The drag queen is just, giving them what they want. I mean, the market is there. I've gone against heterosexual parents saying, this is all your fault. I mean, you can't complain. And, when it's your own kind that are actually creating these events and, letting them go on.
So you're saying heterosexual parents you've spoken to and challenged them. What do they say when you say, why the heck are you booking drag queens for your young kids?
They think they're being inclusive. They think that they're teaching them some kind of valuable lesson. And I've asked them, what is the lesson to be learned to see a man dressed up, wearing a wig, and being sexual in front of your child? We used to arrest men like that.
That's like saying, I don't know, I can't think of anything more stupid than that sentence. Think of anything dumb that doesn't go together. Like pineapple and pizza.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Is that Nickelodeon? I don't know what's going on. I'm honestly flabbergasted. This is the first time that I'm seeing a lot of these screenshots as well. They were all sent over to me. There was a seeming endless supply of these videos. Do children really have the capacity to understand these concepts? This is not education. This is indoctrination. What do you think? Do you think it's indoctrination?
Yeah.
It's just a bit weird. It is a bit weird. And I would think it was weird if there was this amount of videos targeted at 8 to 12-year-olds.
Do you think it's education?
No, this is nonsense. This is absolutely nonsense. Yeah, I think on some level you would have to think it's indoctrination because the nature of the videos are not age appropriate. It's one thing for you to explain that gay people exist and lesbians exist and sometimes a guy likes a guy. And then it's another thing to be putting these sort of things up for 8 to 12-year-olds as well.
What do you think then would be a convenient age for this sort of stuff and exposure?
It's less so about the age and more about the context. Like obviously the age is a big thing. Obviously you can't talking to a 5-year-old kid about gay stuff that would make no sense. Like it just wouldn't. What age do they teach us about sex ed in school?
What age do you start discovering yourself? You've got to think about it that way because so they done a lot of sex education in year 8. Year 8 I would have been how old?
I think you're 13, maybe 14, something like that. 13 maybe.
But if you start secondary school when you're 11,
I think it's 11. It's 11 or 12. I can't remember. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I can't even start counting back now. It's too many numbers.
I think it's one thing to say to a child that like there's gay people and there's another thing to explicitly discuss anal sex.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to go about educating people. That's not
being discussed on the kids' YouTube, is it? Anal sex.
I mean, we already covered a video about them.
I know what they were doing in the school in America.
Yeah. But
please tell me on kids' YouTube for age 9 to whatever year olds, there's videos about anal sex. I can't believe that.
I can't play the video on camera. I'll show you.
So there is actually a video about it.
There's videos about explicit things to do with sex. I don't want to risk playing them on the channel, even though it's on YouTube Kids.
Yeah, it's weird.
They don't make any sense. Prince Henry, a gay fairy tale. Welcome to Queer Kid Stuff. It's okay to be gay. Queer Kid Stuff music video.
I get it. I get that they're trying to... It's inclusivity. They're trying to make people feel comfortable and stuff. But it's just about figuring out what is the age where people start to think about that stuff or start to discover themselves, and is the age range that they've got it showing for too young, or is it an appropriate age? I don't know. I
think that it's an inappropriate age. I don't think it's anything wrong telling children that they are gay people, and sometimes guys like guys and girls like girls, and sometimes you like both. But there's ways to go about it, and I don't think an 8-year-old needs to be having that conversation. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being ignorant.
Yeah, I think from 11, maybe, if you are starting to go secondary, you are a bit more clued up. But I remember when I was in year 6, before starting secondary school, I still felt like a child. I was a child. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't imagine learning about such adult things.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, look at...
Yeah.
That looks like a demon. That looks like a demon. Does that makeup not look like a demon? Does it look like a goat? Have you ever seen Drag Me to Hell? I'm sorry, yeah, but if I saw that educating my kids, no, I'm sorry. Take them, like, no. I don't need drag queens educating my kids. I ain't got no problem with drag queens existing and doing what they do. No issue with it whatsoever. Let your freak flag fly, but not in front of kids. Drag queens have no business teaching kids anything. Nothing whatsoever. I mean, if they're a teacher in their spare time and they're not in drag, that's fine. But if you're in drag, rolling up to schools in your bombastic outfits, with all your colors and your inappropriateness, reading story time to children, I can see why people are not happy about it. Oh wow, they are brave. What's Islam? They are brave.
Isn't that against religion?
Well, I don't think Muslim people would appreciate that very much. This is where it takes a bit more of a dive, right? So I did see this screenshot, and I guess at the beginning of this video, you could argue that we're being bigoted or we're being ignorant or, you know, what, we've got our heads in the sand. But this person, I don't know who they are. Apparently, they've done some TED Talks. Their name is Lindsay Ammer. They're an American LGBTQ plus activist and YouTuber. And they've been awarded a bunch of things. They've done TED Talks. There's a video on there aimed at children, queer children, called Learn About Consent. And consent is about giving permission to someone or something, is one of the lines in the video.
Okay, but I know where they're probably going with that.
I don't even know what they're going
Actually, no, I don't know where they're going with that.
Someone or something. You're either talking about an animal or you're talking about a ghost. I don't know which one it is or why either of those would even make sense. It's just someone, and children can't consent anyway. Children can't give consent. That's not a conversation. The video should be 30 seconds. No, 3 seconds. Children can't consent. That's it.
Yeah.
That's as far as it goes. Doesn't matter if they're gay. It doesn't matter if they're queer. Doesn't matter if, you know, they're developing earlier. Adults have no business around children at all, and children cannot give those adults the consent. We all understand that. So a video where it's saying consent is about giving permission to someone or something. The something part is already bizarre enough. But even if you remove that, to someone, I mean, you're kind of like green lighting pedophilia. Okay, so there's a video that I want to show you. It's 10 minutes long, but we're only going to play a little bit of it because some of it's not really relevant to the conversation. I'm just going to say this. I don't know if the guy in this video has mental issues. I think he does, to be saying the things that he's saying, but also just his facial expressions. There's something very weird about him. And he's saying some stuff that's a bit crazy. So I'm going to play the video now. I just warn you guys that for parents out there with kids, it's probably not...
Is this video on YouTube Kids?
No, this is on Twitter. This was not on YouTube.
So is this something completely separate?
No, this is... Well, this kind of goes back to the consent thing. So it's not just about YouTube Kids. I'm kind of like trying to bring it full circle.
Okay.
My man, how's it going?
It's going all right. I see your sign. It says, very cool. Children cannot consent, and that's the key word I hear: consent to puberty blockers. The gender issue is beside the point. What I want to know is, at what point does someone understand the concept of consent in your view? When would someone be able to reach that level?
Adulthood.
So,
I mean, an adult can do what they want with their bodies. Now, these doctors should still be following their oath to first do no harm and not jump straight to the most invasive medical procedures. But
sure, the gender issue is
children can't understand what they're signing up for here.
Sure, I don't really care about the gender issue.
Okay.
I just want to stop it and say he's going to move on to his point. He doesn't care about the gender issue because he's talking about consent between a child and a man. The guy that is talking to him is saying that children can't consent to having top surgery or bottom surgery, which I would also agree with. Children getting surgery to remove parts of their body is, I mean, that's a whole other topic that we can go over, but this guy is getting to something that arguably might be more sinister. So, and also, did you see the look on his face when he's talking? It's a bit unsettling.
It's very much giving Josiah
Mizukami, bro, their leader.
But what I do care about is, okay, you said the answer I heard was, so adulthood is when someone.
Well, I guess it depends what we're talking about. I mean, if you're asking, can a child consent to? What are you doing here anyway? If you're asking if a child can consent to loving a stuffed animal, well, that's like not going to cause any harm. If we're talking about medical stuff, that's different.
We're talking about a sexual relationship.
Oh, we're talking about sexual relationships now.
Or consent to something like signing a mortgage, or something illegal, or like a puberty blocker, whatever it is. Like,
can I just say, he first said about sexual related activity, yeah? Correct, I heard that right, yeah? Mm-hmm. He then went on to say mortgage after to try and fizzle out what he said so it doesn't look so suspect. Yeah, you see that?
And the mortgage thing is dumb. Obviously, children cannot get mortgages. That's ridiculous.
You can't even get like a... your parents can set you up bank accounts, but you can't officially have like a bank card and start spending, can you, until a certain age?
Yep. Most adults shouldn't be getting mortgages at this point. People are bad at spending, and you want to talk about kids getting it. But obviously,
how's a child gonna even?
He's doing it as a deflection because he knows he's put his foot in it now.
100%.
The concept of consent is like, I am fully aware of what I'm getting into, and I agree with the.
Well, I guess it depends on the thing,
whatever
right?
it is. It's like, go ahead.
I mean, not everything's equal. Depends on the thing.
Okay, so it depends what the situation. So it's context dependent how you would define how someone would be perceived as capable of consent.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. Can a child consent to playing soccer outside with his buddies? Sure. Can he consent to having sex with an adult? Absolutely not. But you got all these minor attracted people who want to lower the age of consent for everything and just basically give kids agency for everything in their lives and take away parental control completely.
That is my
totally
stance.
Insane.
My stance. There we go.
Oh, okay.
My stance is I want to decouple age and consent. I think the two have no bearing with it.
So do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to sex with an adult?
Now, what I want to know is why. Why do you want that?
Because he wants to fiddle with children. That's why. This guy is on a university campus. And he's probably not the only person in that place that believes something like that. It is insane how it's becoming normalized. You know, I watched a TED Talk a long time ago where the person on stage was basically trying to normalize it and legitimize it. And I remember watching it back then and telling my friend that this might become the norm one day. Like, we're going to have to get ready for a time where it becomes more normal for people to have these ideas about age of consent and being able to be with children.
The world will go absolutely out of control.
I mean, the world's already out of control. The world is literally out of control. This is just the icing on the cake.
It will get worse. It's going to get worse. The world, as we know it, is just going to keep progressively getting worse. I'm just letting you all know.
I think they know.
I'm not even from the future, but I can tell you that. I could put my life on it.
Here's what I think. I think that different people mature at different rates. Everyone would agree with that.
Let's ask that question again, though.
Okay.
If I may.
Absolutely.
Do you think a 12-year-old, do you think any 12-year-old can consent to sex with an adult?
It doesn't sound good, but a mature adult that understands the concept of consent. Why should we limit someone by their age?
Ooh.
Why should we couple age with consent?
Bro, not only does it not sound good, it don't look good for you, bruv.
Oh my God. He just said, why should we limit someone by their age?
So no limits at all then. Fresh out the womb, is that what you're talking about?
He's basically just said, yeah, I am a paedophile.
We've got another Josiah on our hands. That guy's message has spread way too far. YouTube did not act soon enough. This is madness. This is absolute madness. If this guy is still allowed to attend the university, it really tells you where the universities are right now. They're relying all of these psychotic mindsets. And then you've got people who say normal stuff like, oh, we shouldn't chop off the breasts of children. We shouldn't remove the penises from children. We shouldn't allow them to sleep with adults. And they're the ones that now look crazy.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are demonetized on YouTube. They're the ones that get their videos taken down. But all of these people that are posting these explicit things online, saying these crazy things in public, they're applauded now. We're the crazy ones now.
My man, this is not going to look good on Twitter later.
All right. That's what I want to say.
I think a 12-year-old can consent to sex with an adult, that's horrid. That's what we call
Statutory is defined as someone who's under 18 or different states. And again, I come back to the point. I think age and consent should be decoupled. That's my stance.
Well, I'm not speechless very often, but you've left me speechless because that's totally insane.
The facial expressions he's doing is exactly down to a T the same as Josiah.
Yeah, no, because they're sick. They probably all have the same mental illness.
It's the way they just, whenever someone's talking to them, that creepy smile comes out, their eyes light up, they close their mouth, then they open it again. Like, it's like Josiah's been arrested, now he's morphed into this guy, now he's just back at it again. That's what I'm seeing right now. This
is madness. This is the thing is that this used to be like a fringe idea. It used to be like a couple of people here or there thought these things. It ain't like that no more.
No.
I'm not saying it's everyone. I'm not saying that majority of the people think this, but it's spreading more and more. And people really need to be aware of where their kids are going and the kinds of people they're around, because people have got some wacky ideas. The fact that he would want to decouple them and that would just be it. So that means you could be 5 years old and he's a 30-year-old man and that's cool for him. You could be 10 years old and your boyfriend is 20 years old. Like, this is mad. This is actually crazy. I can't even laugh at it because the guy's a creep, first of all. And surprisingly, he's been very calm. And you know what? A lot of the time we cover these people because they come screaming with their stupid ideas and, acting like all rabid and that. But actually the ones that are super calm about it, they're actually the ones that scare me the most. Because he fully believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are like grifters and posers. They don't believe what they're saying.
It's like they're very well calculated in their brains. Like they've taken a lot of time out to really think things through and just...
Oh, he's done it. And he's picturing it.
Don't know, but they just... They talk normal. They have a full-blown conversation, which confuses me because to me they're mentally insane, and mentally insane people can't have like a proper conversation like that. See what I mean?
No, of course they can. Psychos are like, they're not all there, but they're very intelligent people. They're very intelligent.
You know why? Because they spend all their time thinking and researching and all on the subject that they're really interested in. It's like they're obsessed.
Well, they're obsessive people, right? Because they want to do whatever they want to do to people, so they understand how people work. They're very intelligent people. These people they're not stupid, and that's why they're able to like seep into the cracks of our culture and legitimize their movements. And slowly by slowly, before you know it, you'll be buying catnip for your 5-year-old, and you'll be allowing your 10-year-old to marry a 40-year-old man, and no one's gonna bat an eye.
It's totally insane. Do you have kids?
I do not.
Okay. Well, maybe one day when you have kids, You'll learn a thing or two about kids, but right now I'm hoping you never have kids, so yeah.
All right. Well,
But I respect you having a respectful conversation. I couldn't possibly disagree more. I mean, it would be actually impossible for me to disagree any more than I do. But we had a respectful conversation, and
Okay.
I do sort of almost respect that. So thank you.
Started reading this book. This author named Eric Berkowitz. He talked about. That sucks.
That is what I deal with. It's always from behind.
If you got it on film, you got it.
But
anyways, that's.
As long as one of these people on their high-speed scooters doesn't run into me, because I've had that happen too.
But anyways, this guy Eric.
So basically, if you're confused with what happened there, someone attacked the cameraman because he's wearing, I think he's wearing a sign, or he's holding a sign that says children can't consent. So someone's attacked him over that.
Wow.
Because of course you would attack a man saying that children can't consent, and you would attack him from behind. You see, it's always these crazy people who don't really have a talking point. They know they're in the wrong. They resort to violence, and they just scream at you a lot.
This is what I'm saying. That none of them are scared of any sort of anything that can happen. Like, he's having this conversation with this man, just openly admitting everything, without realizing this man could just attack you because you're a wrong one. But they're not scared. They will speak their mind. They're not scared of any repercussions.
Yeah, because they're not the ones, they're not the ostracized ones anymore. They're not the ones that have to worry about anything. They have control of all the major institutions, and even in government, they pass legislation and laws to protect this sort of behavior. It's bizarre. It is bizarre how we've even gotten here.
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey,
Yeah, he's filming. Yep.
damn.
Sorry.
You are angry at the world.
No, not at all.
What are you doing, mate? We can see your face. Why would you
Oh,
come?
is he trying to hide his face? I thought he was trying to high five the other guy.
Why would you go towards a camera and then start going like this and act like we can't see your face? If you didn't want to be on camera, why would you go in line with the camera? Why are you in shot? Just drama queens again. Mind your own business. If you don't like what his sign says, if you have a problem with him saying children can't consent, just keep it moving. Like, you don't need to expose to everyone that you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
I love the world. I'm full of love, and I don't think we should be sterilizing children.
Sterilizing children.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing he talks about is the history of eugenics. And
Well,
feeble-mindedness.
I mean, some people call this a eugenics movement against the autistic kids, because about half these kids that end up at these gender clinics are actually on the autism spectrum. We know this from gender clinic studies themselves. The Tavistock, which is the gender clinic that all the kids went to in England, released numbers. Out of a sample size of more than 1,000 kids, 35% had moderate to severe autism, and if you include the mild cases, it goes about 50. But anyway, my man, I'm sure there's a lot of confusion about my sign, so I'm not here to make anyone look bad. I'm just here to have honest conversations. I'm not here to have debates. I'm not here to win a conversation. I just want to have thoughtful, open, honest
Thoughtful, open discussion without debate.
conversation.
Without challenges on your opinion.
Debates are all about trying to win. I'm not trying to win. In fact, if you can show me that I'm wrong about some things, I would love it. I'm one of those weird individuals that loves being wrong. I just want to have a nice, honest discussion. Too often we're trying to win a discussion instead of just have a discussion. So what can I do for you?
I just saw the sign, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seemed very hateful to me, and kind of like you're imposing your ideology onto other people who didn't ask for it in the first place.
Yeah, that's not what I'm trying to do, but
I mean,
I understand how
like-
you feel that way.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
like, why are you saying, like, why do you feel like you should be like a speaker for like people who are different than you? Like, why do you feel like, like this is
This is about
how the
medical
world
abuse.
is ordered in my Eurocentric infrastructure, and I must then go out to others and say that this is wrong. I don't believe that you should be doing this to our kids, when in actuality they're not your kids, and you don't know these people, and you don't know their stories, and you don't know how they feel like.
Oh, I know a lot of
internally.
these people, and I know a lot of their stories.
I
But
don't think
But you don't know me, and you don't know what I've been doing for 2.5 years.
I mean, like, I don't know.
How many detransitionist stories have you read?
Detransition. That's what I'm.
How's it
that's
going?
what I'm saying, dog.
Y'all need to leave.
You
That's
seem to
what
be
I'm
having a
saying.
nice night. It's nice to see you.
It's not nice to see
It's
you.
a beautiful weather. I'm from
I
Canada.
don't
It's nice
care.
and
Now, just before this video escalates, my problem with this is that these people want to have their voice, and that's fine. I don't think their voices should be taken away or silenced, but then they don't want to be challenged. They don't want people to point out the fact that detransitioners exist. There are plenty of people who have transitioned at a young age and are now detransitioning and suffering the effects of the surgeries that they went through and the hormonal changes they went through, and they don't want people to talk about that. Now, if I'm okay with them having talking about trans issues or the trans experience or whatever, or any of these things, why is it not okay on the other foot? As if to say these people don't exist, which is funny because that's a line they love to throw out. Oh, you saying trans people don't exist? Why are you saying detransitioners don't exist? Because we know they do. So if we're happy for you to have what you to say what you want to say, and I am genuinely happy for them to say what they want to say, but I'm not okay at them saying, well, you can't speak out against this. There has to always be two opposing sides. That's how you get a balance. It can't just be one way. That's my problem with this. Again, in the pursuit of inclusivity, they have actually lost touch with what inclusivity is. And I'm sure that doesn't go for everyone. I'm not speaking for every single person. I'm sure there's enough people out there with enough sense to know that whilst you might have your own experience or whatever, that there are other people out there who have gone through similar things to you and have come out on the other end of it in a completely different frame of mind, and they should be allowed to say what they want to say as well. I don't know why one is more valid than the other.
warm out here.
You need to leave. You're not a student here.
Oh my gosh.
You need to leave.
What year was it? 1965?
I don't care about your opinion.
When
Get the out of
we
here.
became the first university in the world to allow political protests on campus. And they protested for a year. Because it's a university campus. We should be able to have conversations.
Sorry. Why did you do that to me? Take it up with him.
Bye-bye.
What a loser.
The moron didn't even realize that it didn't belong to him. Again, instead of having a conversation, you come over swearing, you come over telling someone to piss off when they're allowed to be there, and then you knock over equipment, didn't even double check to see whose equipment it was. It was the other creep. It was the other guy. He's probably on your side. You knocked over his equipment.
Yeah, he said it was his, and then she was like, "Oh, take it out with him."
Yeah, no accountability. Of course.
It makes no sense.
Of course, no accountability. So that's the YouTube kid stuff. That is the stuff on the university campuses.
Sorry, I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, again, he was talking. You know what? He started off like
Yeah, he
this.
was talking like this, and then went like that
Yeah,
again after.
he started off like this, and I was like, okay, maybe he's too stupid to realize that we can see his face. Then he put his hand down, and then he went like this again. I'm like, your hand's already gone down,
This is what he
dumbass.
was doing. I don't want to be on camera.
As stupid as his talking points. But so we've spoken about those two things. I'm going to tie this back to Sam Smith now. I don't know if you've seen Sam Smith's new music video. I don't know how that is on YouTube readily accessible for everyone to view, and I don't know how it hasn't got age restrictions on it. My problem is that you have this stuff, which I do not think is age appropriate for children. You've got these people saying these things on Twitter, YouTube, wherever else, which I think is insane for children to even hear. And it might sound like I'm like nitpicking at Sam Smith, but it's not specifically him as a person. It's the video that he put out. Videos like Cardi B's WAP, whoever else, I think Nicki Minaj released some video at one point with an anaconda.
Yeah.
Right? Those videos are they're not appropriate for children to be seen, yet they don't have age restrictions on them. But we say the F word, we talk about these problems, we get age restricted, we get demonetized. It's not lining up here. So just before you chime in, I just want to finish on, you're exposing children to all this sexual stuff. You're saying that this is inappropriate, that advertisers can't be here, that children shouldn't be seeing this, children shouldn't be hearing the things that you're saying, and at the same time promoting the most inappropriate things and allowing these weirdos on university campuses to say any kind of bullshit they want, and allowing people to post things on YouTube Kids, and it's not taken out, it's just left there unchallenged. Make it make sense to me. It might seem like I'm pulling at bare things, but I mean, I am pulling at bare things, but to me, it all ties back to the same thing. They are just exposing children to way too much, at the same time being complete hypocrites. If children are allowed to see and learn about those things, and people like that are allowed to be on their platforms, because that guy aside, we covered Josiah, he was on YouTube for a very long time. How is it that I can't say the F word in the first 15 seconds of the video? How does that make sense? But I can sit on here and I can espouse all sorts of dangerous things for children to hear. Well, if you guys like want to chime in on the comment section, please let us know, because this stuff really annoyed me, because whenever I go to edit the videos and put them up, YouTube puts a little yellow mark by our video, which basically means we've been demonetized if I literally don't edit out every single swear word. And sometimes, even if I do edit out all the swear words, if I'm talking about a politically incorrect issue, they will just limit it anyway. I don't even know how the algorithm picks it up so quickly. And yet this stuff can exist online for your children to consume. Sam Smith can release a music video for your children to consume. Right? You should go and watch that music video. I don't know how it's not age restricted. And I would say, okay, cool. Sam Smith can release his music video. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, whoever else are releasing these videos without age restriction, cool. But then you demonetize people because they say the F word and they talk about these issues from an opposing viewpoint. Makes no sense to me.